Hello everyone, so welcome to Man Manga Boy. Read his manga. Let's talk about recommendations because I said that I was going to switch things up just a little bit. So let's switch them up a little bit. So we have here our, what I read this like 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point. What do I recommend you guys check out? Read when you get the free time. I'm going to try to keep this light spoilers as much as possible. Something people hate a lot is actually spoilers for manga that they'll never read. Go figure why that is, because you're never going to read it. Noragami, great series about, this god who is trying to become more of a bigwig, kind of, change his ways from being a god of torturing people and upsetting people and not being very nice to people, to put it lightly. It is a really cool anime. I definitely recommend checking it out. The art to this series is fantastic. I will show you a few panels just because it is really cool. I definitely do recommend checking out this series. It does start off a little slow, but it picks up quite fast. The main mystery is in regards to gods. So if you ever thought that Japanese folklore and religion was interesting with all the different deities of fortune and things like that, definitely check it out. There is a fair amount of action in here as well. We start the plot of the maker and his overtaking of the gods. It's not really a spoiler. It's something that the series has been talking about since the maker has been introduced. So once you guys see the maker, you'll understand what his plot is to a point. I really do not recommend this series. Very boring to me. I did like Nier a lot. I thought the story was interesting. However, this series is kind of dull. It doesn't have a lot of action. The lore isn't as interesting as the Nier lore. Maybe it's because it's a manga, so to have drip fed lore too is not great. The art is fine, I suppose, but I don't really recommend checking it out. Mainly, it is a prelude to how the resistance and the other girls are there in the game to help kind of support you through it. I really would say just give it a skip unless you're a Nier Manga fan, but even then I would not really recommend it. The Breaker, this is really picking up. I'm pretty sure that we are pretty much close up to the French release. I'm not sure how many more volumes of just The Breaker there are before we switch over to New Waves. I heard really great things about The Breaker. Less good things about New Waves, but New Waves I heard is still decent enough. And then the third series, I believe, never is going to come out. They've been working on it for years. So a lot of people would say never going to happen. I definitely recommend checking this one out, though. It does showcase a lot of the Nine-Door Dragon and his past. This is a huge kung fu action series. The art is fantastic. Really, there's not too much I could spoil unless I told you who dies. The fighting styles in here are depicted really cool. There's always a new kung fu style master. It's not really like kung fu, but martial art master, I suppose, with all these different fighting styles. So I strongly recommend reading the series if you haven't started picking it up. Now's a great time to do so as we kind of near our climax, or a climax for this main story arc, where the main disciple is starting to kind of reach for his own. This is an interesting volume. I also would recommend checking this out. This series is going to start kind of doing an all-star dream team. So we have the three North Star siblings kind of teaming up together actually to take down a common baddie, including Rao, which is just absolutely insane. So that blew my mind. So they're taking out this guy. His name is Souther. Definitely excellent. As everybody has always said, this is the granddaddy of battle manga and Shonen Jump. There are a few color pages in it as well. The art is 100% heavy kung fu. I read a lot of martial arts stuff. I would definitely call this more kung fu than martial arts though, but these are the few color pages. They're very similar to the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure color pages, where they're not like true color pages. They're like these orangey overlays. It still is pretty nice, and it's a hardcover. Fist of the North Star has been a pretty good read. I will say it was a slower start, but once it got going, it got rolling. We are also getting towards the end of Shaman King here. Shaman King is a series where I have a mixed recommendation for. I think it starts off really well. I think it middles very well, and then I think it ends very poorly. You know, from what I remember, it doesn't have too much of an ending, but after reading it, I'll talk to you guys more about it in the next video. But, you know, it's better than I remember the ending being, but that being said, it's still not perfect or that great. I do really notice that the main character does not care, the author does not care anymore about killing people off, or how the story's going, and he just will say, no, that's not gonna stick, that's not gonna work, no, rewrite. It's just very sloppy writing at this point. And so the stakes are not there. I am not emotionally invested. I am not like, oh no, what's gonna happen next? You know, because people just pull stuff out of their butt left and right. At this point, the Shaman King tournament is like a total joke. The rounds are pretty much just like the author was done writing the series, so he's like, okay, this one's canceled, and off screen these guys won, and I'm like, hey, cool, man. It's like, I don't even know who these characters are, and you're telling me they're like really important, strong shamans, and you just wrote over it. Like, you didn't even show them to me, you didn't. Who's their spirit ally? Like, what's their oversoul? No one knows. It's a secret. How does it work? Okay, all right. Well, at least sure. Sure. We get to see Hal's oversoul, which I really forgot that they even ever showed. There are a few added chapters in this set of Omnis here that weren't in the original, because the author was kind of going through them when he was remaking the Kanzaban edition, and he's like, oh yeah, I never had Hao and Yo actually fight, and he's like the main antagonist and the main protagonist, so I want to at least have one chapter where they kind of fight. And I'm like, oh, so you do realize how this series may be a bit of a blue baller. Okay, as long as you know. So I'm really hopeful that Shaman King Flowers is a little bit better. I have heard they do certain things to improve the quality of the story, which is really good. I have heard you know, a lot of good things about what's it? Not about Flowers, but about I think it was Exiles or something like that. But maybe I'm wrong, because I hear a lot of mixed things about Shaman King, you know. So it's just like things that I'm hearing, but like I'm not super, what's the word for it? Like, I'm not getting my hopes up to say this is going to save the law of Shaman King. So what is my highest recommendation of this week? Well, I would say my highest recommendation is to get into Noragami. If you're huge into shonen, or fighting, or battle, grab these two. I prefer the Breaker over Fist of the North Star, but if you want to be a historian, grab Fist of the North Star. Avoid this, and only check this out if you know what you're getting into. It's a great series up to, I mean, probably around volume 23-ish. And then it kind of starts to fall off for the last like 10 or so volumes, in my opinion. I'm hopeful that they added a few extra things since I last read it in 2010. That was when I believe the original ending came out around 2010-ish. And then they added a few more chapters after that in 2014. The author did keep adding on chapters as they released different volumes and editions of the series. There's like a remix one, there's the Kanzaban, there's a few different things that happen. So I don't know the whole story for sure, but this is not too much better than how I remember it. So yeah, I would say definitely check out Noragami, skip Yora, The Breaker, Fist of the North Star, both great, but for different reasons. I would say The Breaker is the better series, though Fist of the North Star is definitely a historical step forward that I think people should check out if they haven't yet. So I hope you guys enjoy this new kind of a format of a reading log. It's more of a reading recommendation and kind of just a quick thought overview of what I read. Hopefully it helps guide people to check out good manga and not waste money, because there is a big increase in prices lately, I feel like, and a kind of a decent drop off in manga popularity compared to where it was over the pandemic. So I hope this guide helps you out. If you guys enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know down below, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.